Thailand has some of the most beautiful Buddhist temples in the world. We will show you our pick for the top 5 temples in Thailand. We've excluded the ancient ruins such as Ayutthaya because the ruins are in a class by themselves. Some of our picks are away from the beaten path and not on the tourist trail, so you will be pleasantly surprised. Let's get to it. Number 5. Wat Rangkung. Perhaps better known to foreigners as the White Temple. This bizarre-looking white temple located about 5 kilometers south of Chiang Rai city is the brainchild of Chiang Rai-born visual artist and painter Chalermchai Kazat Paipat. He brings an unconventional approach to temple architecture, fusing elements from his own imagination, white, not gold, as a pure color to embody the sacredness of temples, with orthodox Buddhist teachings about heaven, hell, karma and earthly sins. The temple is filled with Buddhist symbolisms, from its layout, architecture, all the way to the ornate reliefs and mirror decorations. You can only enter the main temple from the front, via the narrow bridge that passes over a pool of upturned, beseeching hands representing suffering souls in hell. From here, there's no turning back, as the only way is to ascend heavenwards through the pathway guarded over by demons to the Ubasot. Inside, 2 Buddha images seem to be floating on a lotus pedestal, set against elaborately painted murals in various hues of gold and other colors. Rather than traditional characters, Chalermchai uses icons from modern culture, such as spaceships, Superman, and even Neo from the Matrix movie to tell the stories of the Buddha's life and his teachings on these murals, creating a rather striking, and lasting, impression upon visitors. Number 4. Khao Chi Chan, Buddha Mountain. Khao Chi Chan is a famous place as it features a giant sculptural image of Lord Buddha erected on the giant cliff. It was built 1995 as initiative from then Supreme Patriarch, who felt it's such a waste to let these marble mountains were destroyed, so he ordered to create the giant Buddha image on the cliff that was cut half already. It was also built to honor His Majesty King Bhumibol on the occasion of his Golden Jubilee. The image of Buddha sat cross-legged, with one hand resting on his knee and the other in his lap, is engraved into the northern face of Khao Chi Chan. The solitary limestone hill was once used to supply the local construction industry with materials. In 1996, to commemorate His Majesty the King of Thailand's Golden Jubilee, the 109-meter tall and 70-meter wide image was carved into the rock and then marked out in gold on the recommendation of the then Supreme Patriarch, who felt it was otherwise a waste of a perfectly good, and particularly beautiful, mountain. The image was designed using computer software and then drawn onto the side of Khao Chi Chan using a laser. This was done entirely at night, so that the light of the laser could be seen more clearly. During the day, the image would be fixed and adjusted. Finally, with the drawing completed, gold was used to fill in the sculpture. Number 3. Wat Muang, home of Thailand's biggest Buddha statue. Located in the Wat Muang Temple in Ang Thong Province, this statue stands 92 meters, 300 feet, high, and is 63 meters, 210 feet, wide. Construction commenced in 1990, and was completed in 2008. It is painted gold and made of concrete. The Buddha is in the seated posture called Maravihaya attitude. This temple has several must-see highlights. The ordination hall is surrounded by the largest lotus petals in the world. The ground floor of one of its image halls, Vihan Kyo, is home to a museum, open on weekends from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., with sacred objects, antiques and figures of nationally venerated monks on display. The upper floor of the museum houses the first and largest silver Holy Buddha image of the country, which was created in commemoration of the 50th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. Within the temple compound, there are depictions of heaven and hell, a Thai deity paradise, a Chinese deity paradise, and a huge statue of Kuan Im, a Chinese female goddess. In addition, there are figures narrating the history of the Thai-Burmese battle in Waset Chai Chan. At the back of the temple, there is a fish preserve, where Ang Thong's signature treats and souvenirs are for sale. Number 2. Wat Phu Tak, the Lonely Mountain. The stairway to heaven at Wat Phu Tak is the extraordinary achievement by one man in his own journey towards spiritual enlightenment. The stairs are a vast collection of wooden ramps and ladders that ascend this strange dark rocky outcrop in 7 levels, thus symbolizing the 7 traditional steps towards enlightenment. Encircling the rock, the walkways offer spectacular views over the Isan Plains. Rising nearly 200 meters from the Mekong floodplain, the rock is naturally etched in deep horizontal bands. Into these Ajahn built his wooden platforms on posts driven into the rock face, steps connecting each band. The arduous work of building the stairway was seen by the venerable monk as a form of meditation in itself. The creation of each level, a further personal step towards nirvana beyond. There are in fact only 6 wooden stages. For the 7th level is the very top of the outcrop, up a rocky scramble, which like Buddhism itself, one must complete alone. The stairs are not that hard to climb, and are kept in fairly good order. However, during the rainy season some sections may become a bit slippery. The first 3 levels take one up through spectacular forest below the tree line, passing by deep cuttings and huge tropical trees with their buttress roots. Level 4 takes you through a passage actually within the rock, and level 5 brings you out into a cave adorned with Buddha images and a wide polished floor where pilgrims may pass the night. The wooden gallery at its front affords spectacular views over the plains to Laos. Sadly, foreigners are no longer allowed to stay overnight here, as one couple acted improperly. However, at some stage this ban may be reversed. The gallery on level 5 also possesses the bizarre addition of a skeleton in a glass case. Said to be that of a young man who died of cancer in his 20s, it carries the Buddhist message of impermanence. For a man unfazed by heights, Ajahn own death was curious, for, 20 years ago, he was killed in a plane crash on his way to Bangkok to celebrate the Queen's birthday. Number 1. Wat Chalerm Prakiat. Pagodas floating in the sky. There's a temple in northern Thailand with pagodas perched atop the jagged peaks of a limestone mountain, rising up from a lush green forest. Clouds of mist roll in, enveloping the place in a dreamlike state, then are swept away to reveal stunning views of the plains below. The temple is Wat Chalerm Prakiat in Lampong province, and it is one of the most unique temples in Thailand. The stairways and trails snaking their way up through the forest give this place a magical feel, like something out of a movie. Wat Chalerm Prakiat may look like some ancient temple, but it was actually built in 2004 to commemorate 200 years since the reign of King Rama IV of Thailand. You can think of the temple as being divided into 3 distinct areas. At the top is Jiti Loifa, which translates to pagodas floating in the sky. This is obviously the top of the mountain, and this area has a number of small temple complexes and statues of the Buddha. Below this is the temple complex where the road ends and you have to walk to the top from. The 3rd temple complex is at the bottom where you have to park your car to catch the shuttle up the steep and winding road. Thank you for watching Tubular Thailand.